Hey, what's up, guys? Okay, so just to get things out of the way, I just want to quickly talk about the reason why, for all you guys who are regular viewers on my channel, as to why I didn't have a chapter review for last week's chapter. Basically, just to keep this story simple, my dog that I had since I was 9 years old, to put in perspective, I just turned 25 recently. So yeah, the dog I had since I was about 9 years old passed away unexpectedly on Friday morning of last week. So yeah, despite the fact that the chapter that I read was actually kind of pretty good and actually was excited to do a review about it, once she died, that kind of put a damper on my mood and kind of made me like really upset. I couldn't really think about anything else besides that. So I kind of just decided not to do the review. I was kind of, I'm still trying to get over the fact that she, is gone. So if I seem in this review a little like listless, seem a little like unenthusiastic by doing a review, it's just because of the fact that I'm still dealing with that. Plus, I haven't really been sleeping all that well just because of the fact that it's hard for me to get comfortable at night. Simply because of the fact that for the past 15 years, she's pretty much slept right under me, with only maybe like a few months' time where she wasn't sleeping in bed with me when I was in college. So yeah, it's gonna take me a little while to get used to that. But yeah, just wanted to give it a reason why I didn't have a review out last week, and just say I'm sorry that for all you guys who were expecting a review on my channel and honestly didn't get it. I do just want to do a quick review of last week's chapter real quick though before I get into this week's. It was actually really interesting. It was actually really cool to see the last week's chapter. You got to see everyone's battle action going into play. You got to see Asta and all the Black Bulls working together again. We need a good reminder of exactly how they work together with that, with the headquarters in that giant mecha, because of the fact that it's been so long since the last time we actually saw them. And then we got the bombshell, which was basically she stole the entire show. Dorothy finally showing up and actually using some kind of magic, like actually doing something for the very first time in the entire series. Which, by the way, like I said, she stole the fucking show. And honestly, we had caught a glimpse of her in the week before's chapter. We figured that the character we saw briefly might have been her, but we didn't have confirmation until that chapter afterwards. And like I say, I was completely unexpected to like see her as an elf. I honestly had hopes that Dorothy would actually show up as like one of the good guys, and we get to see her fighting on the good side and get to see glimpses of her magic on that effort. But yeah, the fact that she actually got turned into an elf was actually really surprising to me. Mostly because of the fact that I don't actually own that like guidebook for Black Clover that came out like months ago. I think almost like a year ago at this point. I've only seen glimpses of it online, so I don't know if it actually did mention in that guidebook whether or not Dorothy was actually turned into an elf. Like I know for certain that the guidebook kind of spoiled the fact that Langris and a few other characters were actually turned into elves that we didn't get to see on screen when the whole resurrection started. But I'm not sure whether or not she was actually mentioned in that book or not. But yeah, like I said, last week's chapter was just simply amazing, especially the fact that we finally got to see Dorothy do something. Anyway, jump into this week's chapter, and just like how Dorothy stole the show in last week's, Sally, oh my god, Sally stole the show in this week's chapter 100%. Alright, so jumping into the chapter, we start off with all the characters like Sally, Vanessa, and all of them who got transported to Dorothy's dream world, basically fighting off against her. Now, Dorothy's magic is actually kind of interesting because for a while now, because of the fact that her name's Dorothy and she's dressed up like a witch, I thought she was kind of like some kind of reference to the Wizard of Oz. And I guess she still could kind of be. I mean, there's no confirmation on her wiki page whether or not she actually is a reference to that. But based off her magic, I guess you can actually kind of draw that conclusion because it's been a while since I actually watched the Wizard of Oz. But I'm pretty sure in the original, at the end, it's kind of left ambiguous whether or not that Dorothy, like everything she experienced in that world was actually real was a dream. So the fact that Dorothy in the manga actually uses dream magic where she transports people into a world of dreams where she completely controls everything, that kind of could fit with that if she actually is based off of Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz. Now at first the fight is actually going pretty much exactly how I figured it would, and once we saw her transport everyone to that dream world in the last week's chapter, because I figured, alright, well, she's in a world that she's basically controlling, and there's really not anyone that strong on their fighting side. I mean, Luck was extremely powerful when the elf was taking over his body, but now he's kind of lost the elf's boost in power. He's really kind of back down to Magnus level, so he's not really that heavy of a hitter at this point. And when we're facing off against a captain who's also imbued with elf magic and like elf energy, I don't see any way he was actually going to defeat her, even with Magna, Vanessa, and everyone else's help. So yeah, I kind of figured it was basically going to be a battle of endurance, how long Vanessa can keep them on a run until maybe Dorothy runs out of magic. But you know what? The bot actually caught me off guard instead and actually decided to basically use this chapter as a way to basically show why Sally's going to end up joining the Black Wolves by the end of this arc. I mean, seriously, if Sally does not end up joining the Black Wolves officially by the time this entire thing is over, it's going to be a huge disappointment, because after watching her in this chapter and seeing exactly how she basically interacts and, works well together with all the other members, there's no reason why she shouldn't end up joining. I mean, so was she's a criminal. So was Gouch when he first joined up. I mean, sure, he didn't do anything as bad as she did, but still, Yami's in a forgiving mood, and if he ends up becoming like the Magic Emperor instead, and someone else gets promoted to captain, I'm sure any one of them besides probably Gouch would let her join. But yeah, it's actually pretty interesting seeing exactly how she used everyone, or how she kind of worked well together with everyone in order to basically keep Dorothy at a standstill with her attacks. It actually was pretty interesting, because of the fact that Sally is extremely smart, and when it comes to the Black Wolves, I think the two smartest members we have are possibly Gouch and Vanessa, but even those two aren't on her level. As we saw in this chapter, Vanessa was kind of, left running this entire chapter. She had no idea exactly how to basically counteract Dorothy's magic, or even have a chance of defeating her. But Sally, on the other hand, she was actually quickly able to come up with counterattacks. Like when Dorothy sent that giant water attack at them, she quickly thought up, alright, use Luck and Magna's attacks to basically evaporate the water, make it explode on her instead. And then once Dorothy brought out the fact that her dream world kind of makes people start to fall asleep, and once they fall asleep, they basically just stay asleep forever, she quickly realized, alright, in order to basically make it so that we don't end up falling into that trap, let's just make her imagine an exit for us. And you know what? I actually really like this scene right here, simply because of two reasons. One, it shows just how creative and, smart Sally actually is. And two, this scene right here, or this like whole sequence, shows exactly how strong Dorothy actually is. Because of the fact that any other opponent, like as we saw with Magna, Vanessa, Luck, all of them, none of them could come to the conclusion that, alright, well, if we're in Dorothy's dream world where she basically creates everything she thinks of, just have her to think of an exit for us so we can get out of here. No one thought of that. And in a real battle situation with someone like, with a real opponent that she's actually trying to kill, they most likely would not think of that either. It would take someone as intuitive, as someone as smart, and, as creative as Sally to actually come up with a plan like that. So for most fights, Dorothy probably would always win. And that just kind of shows that she's a little bit OP. She's a little bit OP because of the fact that, it actually will take someone with a creative mind to basically think of a way to counteract Dorothy's magic the way Sally did. And you know what? If Sally wasn't there, Dorothy probably would have defeated Vanessa and all of them without any problems whatsoever. I mean, sure, they would have been able to dodge with Rogue for a while, but eventually they would have just fell asleep like she was planning to have them do. It was kind of just bad luck and, plot convenience that Sally was actually there and she was someone that Dorothy had to go up against. But yeah, like I said, Dorothy, OP. Any other time, she would actually probably won that fight. She would have won that fight 9 times out of 10. Now, here's the thing, though. At the end of the chapter, we see basically Sally trick Dorothy into creating a whole bunch of exits for them so they can escape and have a better chance of fighting Dorothy in the real world. However, since we didn't actually see them escape in this chapter, I kind of got the feeling that we're not going to actually see them escape until probably the end of the next chapter. Because I'm guessing at the beginning of the next chapter, Dorothy's probably going to destroy the doors or, get rid of them in some way. And they're basically going to be stuck in the dream world for a little bit longer, trying to figure out a different way to fight back. So I'm actually kind of wondering exactly how Sally will actually manage to do that, because she's basically the planner, or like basically the strategist for this fight right now. So I'm interested in seeing exactly how she'll use everyone's abilities in order to basically fight back against Dorothy and defeat her. If we're not actually get to see her use her gel magic in the next week's chapter, and if that kind of, changed at all, because of the fact that she's technically reincarnated and kind of not really human at this point anymore. So I'm a little interested to see exactly how that works out. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the chapter, and that's pretty much it for the review. I just want to quickly say again, sorry about the fact that I seem, a little unenthusiastic about the chapter, and the fact that I missed last week's chapter review. Still trying to get over the whole dog thing, but I really do appreciate you guys' patience with me about, not being bombarded with questions about where the chapter is for last week's chapter and all that. But yeah, that's it for the review. That's it for the channel. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, drop me a like, subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate it. Comment down below your thoughts and theories on the chapter, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.